Jurors had the day off today, but the judge held a short scheduling meeting with lawyers from both sides to discuss what was coming up. The defense plans to call about 15 witnesses when it makes its case, perhaps starting next week. The defense hopes to wrap up its case by next Friday. Now, due to the death in the family of a current witness, Dr. Stephen Schaefer, we hear his father, that's a report tonight, the trial may be dark on Monday. Prosecutors David Walgren and Deborah Brazil were fined $60 each for being late to the hearing today. And court is expected to resume Monday, as we said. We have our guests who are joining us now to talk about this. Hal Eisner, Leo Terrell, Anthony Falangetti, thanks for being with us.
Pleasure.
So does this happen often where you have a guest? You were asking this question. A death in the family of your last witness in the prosecution. Leo, what does that mean?
You always have unexpected situation, but the judge can control the scheduling order of the witnesses. For example, he could take a witness out of order. So these things do happen unexpectedly, but the judge has so much discretion, he can change the direction
out
of
of
order.
It's the last witness, though.
Does that impact the jury, though?
Some people may view that it does, but I don't think it does. Personally, in my experience trying these cases, I think the juries can compartmentalize the witnesses. They understand when explained by the judge, this witness has an issue. We'll get back to that witness. We're going to start taking defense witnesses out of order. The jurors actually like it because they don't want their time unnecessarily delayed. They're sacrificing their time and lives each day to be there to participate in the system, so they're happy it gets moved along.
Before we get into some more discussion on that, you said something I want to be sure it doesn't get left hanging out there. The prosecutors were fined $60. You know why?
Yeah.
They were late, and the judge had admonished them once before for being late to court. They were 6 minutes late to court this morning, and the judge said, that's it. $10 a minute, $60 each one of them, $120 fine. Deborah Brazil, David Walgren, deputy DAs. You've been fined before for things. Have you ever been fined before for things?
No.
Well, you're not going to say so on TV, are you? but the thing is, prosecutors generally don't get fined, right?
That's true. It's very rare, and I think the fine was very nominal. Usually, if you're talking about really socking it to an attorney, you're talking about a couple of $100, even $1,000.
Let me just ask you, I mean, where are we on this case right now? What's your size up 3 weeks after it started? Well,
I think the prosecution has made a fantastic presentation of the case. I think the prosecution's expert witnesses are fantastic. I've said it over and over again. The defense got to come out like gangbusters, and I'm telling you right now, bring on Dr. Carr, because the weakness of the prosecution case is whether or not Conrad Murray made a mistake by trying to resuscitate Michael Jackson or call 911, and people differ on that issue.
Because it could have been reversed.
It could have been reversed.
The defense came out first. It could have been that they said take care of the patient before you call 911.
And let me be clear, the prosecution, all their experts said, no, you must call 911. Well, I guarantee you, if I had Dr. Carr back up, I'll ask her, Dr. Carr, what would you have done? Is it reasonable for Dr. Murray to try to resuscitate Michael Jackson first? And if she says yes, then that's reasonable doubt to the jury, and it attacks the credibility of the prosecution.
And it only takes one, right?
Only takes one to hang a jury, but remember, hung jury equals mistrial. Prosecution gets another shot if they want to retry it. On this issue, I agree.
Thank you.
With Leo. Right up front, I've always thought, if a doctor is there, the doctor renders emergency care immediately. Get somebody else to call 911. The greatest chance of success in saving a life is the doctor's immediate care.
So what do you want to hear from the defense? Here's
what I want to hear from the defense. I want to hear, what I want to hear is some warm and fuzzies to start. I want to hear good things about Conrad Murray. I want it to be powerful, though. You can't start slow. It has to be powerful. In my opinion, stay away from the science for a couple of days. Let the jurors get beyond that. Let them start thinking good thoughts about Conrad Murray.
Because those two doctors obliterated him.
They were great for the people. They were practiced. They were rehearsed. And remember, not only did they repeat gross negligence over and over and over again, but they took lines right out of the prosecution's opening statement. We heard him say he abandoned him. Right. I mean, it's not like that line just came up out of his head. Yeah. Right. So right away, though, we have to, if you're the defense, make the jurors like your client. They're going to vote with their hearts and then rationalize it with their minds. Make them like your client first, and then give them some experts to refute the prosecutions.
Has his body language allowed that to happen, do you think? Do you think the jury is buying Dr. Conrad Murray's innocence here?
No. Well, listen, I think those prosecution experts mesmerize the jurors. And I disagree slightly with my colleague here. You got to come out with a gangbuster defense medical expert to neutralize the powerful personality of those two experts. If you don't have that, if you don't attack their credibility and become a likable defense expert, just as likable as they were, you're going to have this case in the prosecution's hands.
And so quickly to wrap this up, and we've got to move on, then do you end then with the warm fuzzies, as you call it, the people who really like Dr. Murray?
You know what? I don't like the warm, fuzzy feeling. I want to attack the issue as to whether or not Dr. Murray was grossly negligent. And I'm saying, no, he wasn't.
All right, we got more coming up, so don't go away.
Be right back.